Main man, made man here. Y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing. So we talked about this a couple weeks ago. It looks as if that the World Boxing Super Series has came to their senses, saved themselves a whole bunch of bad press, and they've decided to now allow Callum Smith to go on and face George Groves. It seems as if that George Groves will be medically cleared and medically fit to go ahead and fight, and they're going to do this thing sometime in July. I think July 14th, if I'm not mistaken. But that's good, man. They saved themselves a lot of bad press. There was talks about them putting Chris Eubank Jr. into the finals, a fighter who definitely did deserve it, a fighter who looked terrible in his last performance, a fighter who shouldn't be nowhere near this tournament, a fighter who looked basic, who looked novice, who went in there looking like a caveman, who went in there intentionally trying to hurt George Groves, a fighter who should be suspended. They were going to put him into the finals. And even if he was not fighting for George Groves' title, he would have still gotten the Muhammad Ali trophy and possibly that $10 million prize money that comes with it. So, I was like anybody but Chris Eubank Jr. So, it seems as if they've cleared George Groves to come back and fight now. This is a little surprising because the World Boxing Super Series initially denied George Groves an extension, a medical extension, stating that he was trying to get his shoulder back rehab properly. And of course, the World Boxing Super Series, they granted him one extension. They wasn't trying to give him another. They thought that he would not be ready by the July date to do this. And so they were willing to insert Chris Eubank Jr., man. Like I stated, man, saved themselves a lot of credibility. Uploaders, myself, and others were already going down the road of knocking out the credibility of the World Boxing Super Series because it would have just taken it all away. It was about to make people do a closer look into the injuries, how they've plagued this tournament. I believe this tournament had the best interest of boxing at heart in its inception, but it's turned into an injury field, and it almost lost all credibility with this particular move. And people have been tuning out, and no one has been tuning in droves. They got to get better names. They probably got to move to a more popular weight class or more popular division. And then, maybe the numbers will move a little better for the World Boxing Super Series. Also, they got to work on their American broadcasting, man. Their American broadcasting, it's not that visible here. We see no really promotion for the World Boxing Super Series here. There's really nowhere to look, to view it. You got to go over the river and through the woods to find a stream or something to view it. So, we'd like to see, better representation of the World Boxing Super Series here in America, and that's something that we're just not getting. Hopefully, Richard Schaefer and Ringstar and the rest of his group can get together and they can do something better for that, man, especially when they go to more popular weight classes. But hats off to the World Boxing Super Series for making this move. I only hope that George Groves is actually ready to come back. He's not rushing himself to come back. I know there's a lot of pride on the line for St. George Groves. I called him St. Pierre. For St. George Groves, I know he really wanted to win this tournament and be recognized as basically the man at 168. And his victories now over Chris Eubank Jr., and if he can maybe go in and get a victory over James DeGale, these are things that would honestly solidify George Groves' position at 168. But hats off to George Groves, man. I hope he didn't just take a cortisone shot or something and then threw a few punches for the World Boxing Super Series and pleased them, man. I hope he's actually the same George Groves, because I don't know how many people is going to cut him slack if he goes into this thing and lose against a fighter like Callum Smith, whom most people is expecting him to beat. So we'll see, man. Callum Smith actually has the ability to outpoint George Groves, so that's something he needs to be aware of. I'm expecting a healthy George Groves to beat Callum Smith, but George Groves injured and battered. He can go in there and get outpointed by Callum Smith, man. And Callum Smith winning the World Boxing Super Series, whatever, man. But we'll see, man. So to the next video, Main Man Made Man. Don't forget to subscribe. Twitter, Made Man 511. Facebook, Main Man Made Man Boxing Forum. Google Plus, Main Man Made Man. Yeah, man. I got nothing but love for George Groves, man. Brings a lot of heart, a lot of skill to a fight, man. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him come back, man. And it's a shame, man. It's really a shame that he got to go into the tournament hurt, because he got in there with that smug, fake T1000, fake wannabe boxer Chris Eubank Jr. If he would have never got in there with him intentionally trying to hurt him, he would have never been in this position. But whatever, man. So to the next video. Peace out.